All right, so if you've ever dreamed of seeing a wild tiger, I mean truly wild, on its own turf, there are very few places on the planet that can beat Ranthambore National Park in India. We're not talking about a zoo here. This place is like an ancient kingdom where the tiger is, without a doubt, still the king. And when you're actually there, man, the experience is just visceral. It's raw. You can almost feel it in this quote from a couple of YouTubers who went there recently. They said, "My heart was pounding. It got so close to the car. I mean, it truly, it made me nervous. It was so close." I mean, can you imagine? That's that real heart in your throat feeling of being just feet away from one of the most powerful predators on the planet. So you might be asking, how are encounters like that even possible? Well, it really boils down to this number right here, around 70. That's roughly how many adult Bengal tigers are roaming around Ranthambore. And that's not by accident. It's a huge testament to decades of conservation work. That relatively high density, that's the secret sauce. It's exactly why you have such an incredible shot at a sighting. Okay, so that brings us to the big question we're tackling today. What is the Ranthambore safari experience really like? And why is this place so special? To get to the bottom of that, we're going to break it down. We'll look at the unique setting, dive into the thrill of the safari itself, and then zoom out to see the bigger picture of what this place means for conservation. All right, first up, let's talk about the setting. Because, to really get the drama of Ranthambore, you have to understand the stage where it all happens. And trust me, it's unlike any other national park you can imagine. So, for centuries, this land was basically the private hunting grounds for the Maharajas of Jaipur. It was all about sport for royalty. But that history has totally flipped. Now, it has a completely new purpose. It's a critical sanctuary where these amazing animals can actually thrive. And, that change didn't just happen overnight. You can see the whole journey laid out here. It started back in 1955 as the Sawai Madhopur Game Sanctuary. Then, in '73, it became one of the very first reserves for India's groundbreaking Project Tiger. And finally, in 1980, it got its official title, a national park. What a journey. The landscape itself, it's just mythical. I mean, you've got these ancient ruins literally crumbling back into the jungle. There are these stunning lakes that are like magnets for all the wildlife. And of course, those huge, colossal banyan trees everywhere. It honestly feels like you've just stepped right into the real-life Jungle Book. Okay, so with that incredible stage set, let's get to the main event, right? The thrill of the safari. Let's dig into how it all actually works. So your window into this wild world is an open-air vehicle. But here's the thing. The most important parts aren't the engine or the wheels. They're your guides. You get a driver who is absolutely laser-focused on tracking down wildlife, and a naturalist. And that person is your interpreter for the jungle, explaining everything you see, from, identifying a specific tiger by its stripes to naming one of the hundreds of bird species flying around. Now, when you go, you have a key choice to make, the Jeep or the Canter. The Jeep is a smaller 6-seater deal. It's a bit more expensive, but it's way more nimble and can get into tighter spots, which can mean a better view. On the other hand, you have the Canter. It's basically an open-air bus that seats about 20 people. It's a lot more budget-friendly, but sticks to more limited routes. But hey, either way, you get that amazing open-air experience. And check this out. Finding a tiger isn't about GPS or high-tech gadgets. Nope. The guides use these incredible, ancient natural methods. They're basically detectives of the jungle. First, they're looking for fresh footprints or pug marks in the dirt tracks. Then, and this is the cool part, they just listen. They're tuning into the language of the forest. They're listening for the sharp alarm calls of deer and monkeys. It's nature's own built-in alarm system for when a predator is close. And what all this creates is this wonderful, wild feeling. I mean, there are no fences between you and the animals, no barriers. It's just you, your vehicle, and all this wildlife in their natural home. And what's really cool is that a lot of the taggers here are so used to the vehicles, they'll sometimes just stroll right on by without even a second glance. But let's be real for a second. The park is super popular, and that means when a tiger is spotted, that peaceful moment can turn into, well, a bit of a pileup. You get what some people call unavoidable vehicle pileups, as every driver jostles for the best position. It's that classic paradox of popular wildlife tourism, right? Okay, but while the tigers are obviously the main attraction, if you only focus on them, you'd be missing out on an incredible supporting cast. Ranthambore is so much more than just tigers. It's a whole thriving ecosystem, just teeming with other kinds of life. I mean, Sure, you've got other predators. You might get super lucky and spot a sloth bear, which is really rare, or a super shy leopard. But you're pretty much guaranteed to see all the other animals. You've got sambar deer, spotted deer, or cheetal, the nilgai, which is also called the blue bull. Then there are the gray langur monkeys, crocodiles in the lakes. Oh, and if you're into birds, it's paradise. We're talking over 300 species here. And right in the middle of the park, there's the ancient Ranthambore Fort. This thing is a must-visit. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's just an amazing spot to get out and stretch your legs. Plus, the views are incredible, and it's probably the best place to get some photos of the monkeys, who are just super relaxed and hanging out among the old ruins. So, if all this has you thinking, hey, I want to go, then let's get into the debrief. Here's the crucial, practical stuff you really need to know before you start planning. First off, timing is absolutely everything. If you go in the winter, from October to March, the weather is beautiful and the landscape is super green. But, and this is a big but, if your one and only goal is to see a tiger, the super hot summer months from April to June are actually your best bet. Why? Because the heat forces the tigers out into the open to find water, which makes them way easier to spot. Just don't try to go from July to September. The park's closed for the monsoon. And here's a little pro tip for you. The park is split into 10 different safari zones. Now, a lot of the time, your zone is assigned randomly, but if you get a chance to request one, ask for zones 1 through 6. Those are considered the prime spots. They have the highest tiger density, which is going to maximize your chances of seeing one. All right, so finally, let's kind of zoom out for a minute and talk about the takeaway here. Because Ranthambore is so much more than just a cool place to visit. It's actually a massive success story, a real beacon of hope. Just look at this chart. It tells such a powerful story. Back in 2005, things were dire. The tiger population had crashed to just 25 animals, mostly because of poaching. But then, thanks to some really intense conservation work, that number climbed up to 48 by 2013, and then all the way to 69 by 2022. I mean, wow. That right there is what success looks like. So what this all means is that Ranthambore isn't just a tourist spot. It's a living, breathing example of conservation that actually works. It's proof that, with real effort, we can bring endangered species back from the brink. And what's really important to remember is that, in a very direct way, every single safari ticket that's sold helps to keep that amazing success story going. And that leaves us with one last big, thought-provoking question. We've seen that Ranthambore's whole model depends on tourism to pay for conservation. But that same tourism is what causes those vehicle jams and puts stress on the animals. So as we think about the future, we really have to ask ourselves, is this delicate, sometimes chaotic balance the best way forward for saving some of the world's most incredible animals?